Oh, hi, Integral Global. I'm Marshall Eon, and I wrote you a letter. Where did I put that? Okay. This looks like it. Yep. Dear Integral Global, I really didn't want to have to write you this letter. See, at Integral, we're capable of being at any stage, and believe me, I would much rather chill at green. I maintain harmonious friendships with many people in this community. Everyone knows I just want to lay back and vibe with my homies of all races, genders, sexual orientations, and religious backgrounds. But if you had the clarity of vision to recognize that a red predator was hurting your community by bullying its most cherished members, could you be content to stay at green? I watched that communist Alyosha Kutenjak's video about my post. I really enjoyed his roasts against me. But then he described Corey as a greedy arch-capitalist. And that's when I realized he had been sent to continue David's hostile attack on this community and its leaders. I looked at his YouTube channel. He has, 5 videos now. And one of them is a shallow hit job against academics with a picture of Bruce as the cover photo. Then Alyosha told me to suck his dick. Can you believe that? Then again, I did call that commie a cunt jack. Does that make you uncomfortable? Welcome to the Red V meme. Can you hang here a minute? Because I'm going to tell you a story. This story is most important for the majority of you who have spent the last 20 years submerged in green culture and ideas. This is a story about your red shadow and David's. Red has lived inside you this whole time, but it was banished to your shadow a long time ago. You may not know the ins and outs of red attitudes and behaviors, which makes you ill-equipped to even recognize it, let alone deal with it. Because of your blind spots, it may appear to you that I initiated and inappropriately wielded aggression against David Long. But soon you'll see that it was actually David who has been waging an aggressive, predatory campaign against this community for quite some time. Contrary to his assertion that I don't like him, I do like him. I just take issue with his red shadow. Don't get me wrong, David's center of gravity is certainly much higher. With almost 200 videos on YouTube, he's efficient, proficient, and prolific. That takes tremendous technical skill, discipline, and pure grit. He never misses an opportunity to promote his name, his brand, his YouTube channel, his Facebook group, his Patreon, or his many products and services. David Long is a goddamn fucking machine. So, mad props to him for that. Pop quiz. What stage is it where someone demonstrates machine-like efficiency at production, branding, marketing, and monetization? Wait. Before you suggest that David's center of gravity is orange, perhaps he's actually teal. If so, he must demonstrate significant green capacity in addition to his highly impressive grasp on the tools of modernity. And yet, the biggest complaint about David in this community seems to be his lack of relational capacity. It's actually really well known how stunted David's interpersonal development is. Just ask around. For every one person that vouches for him, there are 5 that have felt burned. David's only good at building relationships when it means more content for his YouTube channel, more attention for his brand, and more fans in the David Long fan club. He's used this group, Integral Global, very effectively for that purpose. But let me remind you where you are right now, David. This is Integral Global. This is Corey's house that you're in. Corey built this house with decades of blood, sweat, tears, and social capital or community trust. And you're barging into his house, drinking all the beer in the fridge, and then taking a huge dump on his living room floor. You're building your channel, brand, and business rent-free in Corey's house and at his expense. You're turning around and accusing him of poor leadership because he's busy running a real business and doing everything he can to keep his young, immune-compromised daughter healthy in the middle of a pandemic. For everyone reading this, not only is it rude and disrespectful to do this in Corey's house, this is a hostile maneuver. This is an act of aggression. This is colonizer behavior. David doesn't realize it because it's in his shadow, i.e., unconscious. That's why he thinks he's entitled to a platform in Corey's house to grow his fan club by attacking Corey. But most people reading this will know what I'm talking about at a gut level because it's universal morality. According to the morality as cooperation theory, MAC theory, there are 7 moral values that come as close to universal morality as anything else known. These moral values have been discovered across 60 different cultures around the world. They are family values, group loyalty, reciprocity, bravery, respect, fairness, and property rights. This is Corey's house that he built as part of his life's hard work. David is a guest in this group, but he doesn't practice group loyalty. Instead, he regularly takes advantage of this group for his own gain, but he doesn't practice reciprocity to his hosts, which is unfair. On top of that, he doesn't show respect for his superiors. So I'm here risking my own reputation by reciprocating aggression to a hostile operator to make things more fair because of my group loyalty out of respect for this community's leaders who are mostly family men. I'm not debating anyone here. This isn't a debate. This is a community. So stop invoking ad populum fallacies, David and friends. I am shining a light on your behavior and crafting a more accurate narrative to counter your hostile, predatory narrative. Corey isn't lacking in leadership. You demonstrate neither appropriate social behavior nor awareness of your red shadow. If you guys are really that autistic, I will gladly apologize out of respect for your condition. Instead, I will help you see the social cues that you are missing. The community is sending you messages about your behavior. David, 99% of your online efforts are about you. Even your so-called integral group is really just egocentric and self-aggrandizing. So when suddenly you come out with criticism for Corey out of concern for this community, nice try. It's the boy who cried wolf, David. Your behavior is always egocentric. So why would you have any credibility with us when you show up one day with a single self-serving, group-centric concern? And now I'm the one crying wolf, except this time the wolf is real. An egocentric orange-red wolf in group-centric teal clothing. You're a rent-seeking opportunist, David, And you're trying to enrich yourself by destroying the reputations of your competition. So if there's anyone left here who still wonders why I'm responding to David in such a competitive manner, it's because I perceive the competitiveness in his behavior. If you want to know why I'm being so aggressive, it's because I clearly see the aggression that you might not recognize. That includes you, commie cunt Jack. You asked who is the one bringing capitalist neoliberal standards? Open your eyes, comrade. If you really hate capitalism so much, why don't you make a video attacking David? If you were actually paying attention, you might have noticed the impressive diversification of product offerings available from David L'Orange. What have you created other than a gossip channel where you attack people more accomplished than you, commie? You ignore David's many attempts at capitalizing on Ken's philosophy while attacking Ken, yet you called Corey out for being a greedy arch-capitalist. A failed capitalist is still a capitalist, cunt Jack. David is a total failure in the marketplace, but it's not because he didn't try many times. David is a hustler first, an entertainer second, and a philosopher last. Corey's all of those things, too. Plus, a successful businessman, twice, and a family man. Everything he touches turns to gold. And yet, your products sell like lead balloons, David. You've tried super hard, but your products ain't selling. I know that's hard, so let me give you some advice, son. Corey's brand is Integral Life. What's he selling? The Integral Life. How to live life as a mature, integral adult. What's your brand, David? Me, myself, and I am. Your brand and your product is David Long. You think that because you make hundreds of videos of you LARPing as a philosopher on YouTube, that people are going to want to give you money for it? Wrong. Your product is your problem, David. It's too egocentric. Nobody wants to buy your ego, David. You produce a show ostensibly about Integral, but we all know it's really about David Long. Nobody wants to buy David Long. That's why you have no money. What you and your commie buddy don't realize is that succeeding in the marketplace is a sign that you're effectively providing for people's needs. Corey gets paid because he teaches people how to be more integral humans and how to live integral lives. That's what the market wants, which is another way of saying that's what human beings need. You're doing orange perfectly, David, except for when it comes to product market fit. That's because your giant red shadow is one massive blind spot, preventing you from seeing how ill-suited your product is for the marketplace. Otherwise, David, you're so orange, it's hard to tell you apart from Donald Trump's spray tan. And the similarities don't stop there. Donald Trump loves to put his name all over everything, doesn't he? And he loves to start drama. He's always picking fights and creating drama because it drives ratings. David has been starting drama for years. He depends on drama to grow his brand because his many products just aren't selling. David Long is the Donald Trump of Integral. He's a hyper-competitive predator who feeds on his competition's reputations. He's a parasite who uses his competition's platforms to grow his brand for free, then repays his hosts by sliming and smearing them in their community. I've seen this kind of group parasitism before. You remember the propertarians, David? The racists that you love to bring up because you claim they were a huge problem in herpes? You and your sycophantic buddies are acting just like them. They came into a group that someone else built and then used it for their own selfish purposes. Just like you. And speaking of anti-racism, I'm the one who confronted them, David, not you. I didn't scream like a Karen in Integral Global when I encountered a racist, demanding that a manager come and ban them. I engaged them privately and publicly with both aggression and compassion. I made friends with them. Why? That's what Daryl Davis inspired me to do. He's an African-American blues musician in his 60s. Davis has befriended over 20 members of the KKK and claims to have been directly responsible for between 40 and 60 and indirectly over 200 people leaving the Klan. That's where I learned about effective anti-racist action. It didn't stop me from confronting and challenging their racist beliefs, but I understand better now why they believe what they do and what life conditions led to the kind of trauma that underlies racism. Which makes me demonstrably more knowledgeable about anti-racist activism than you, David. From my vantage point, your approach strikes me as the panicked moral hysteria characteristic of some amber-level social justice activists, which isn't to say that all or most social justice activists are amber. Except, I don't think you're actually amber, David. You're an orange-red opportunist hustler, capitalizing on an amber moral hysteria to undermine your competition because you can't compete in the marketplace, neither of actual commerce nor ideas. You want to criticize Corey's leadership on anti-racism, David? Okay, let's do that. You think he's been too slow to ban racists in Integral Global? Okay, fine. But let's put it all on the table. Maybe Corey just isn't paying attention to this group because he's too busy fighting racism on his website with powerful, compassionate conversations with integral luminaries like Greg Thomas, Diane Hamilton, Mark Palmer, Rob McNamara, and Gabe Wilson. These people only work with real leaders, David. Corey is leading the most important conversation about racism in the entire integral community. That makes Corey the king of integral anti-racism, and you're just a peasant, David. As my man Jay-Z said, please leave it alone. Don't throw rocks at the throne. If anyone wants to see what a mature, integral approach to anti-racism looks like, check out Integral Life. There, you'll find an example of real leadership, David, not in your piddly 250-person Facebook group. Your group is about 5% the size of Corey's, and yet you think you could do a better job in his shoes? That's apples and oranges. Your fave, Dave. That's called the scaling fallacy, David. A tendency to assume that a system that works at one scale will also work at a larger scale. It's a fallacy. But that's cool, man. I mean, this is a common mistake among naive, inexperienced, and ignorant entrepreneurs like yourself. However unlikely it may be, if you ever have the experience of having a group grow to several thousand people, you'll quickly learn how much the work required to manage the group grows with it. It's actually quite amazing that your group only has 250 members, given that you've posted hundreds of links in Integral Global, which has over 4,000 people. That means that more than 90% of this group has rejected your offering. Let's all stop and acknowledge a simple truth. The I Am David Long fan club group wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Integral Global. David has posted hundreds of his group and video links into Integral Global over the last few years. David, you should be thanking Corey for his graciousness in letting you promote your brand and business in this group. Corey is your godfather, David. You'd better kneel and kiss the ring, son. Show some respect for your host in his own house instead of biting the hand that has generously fed you. You overstepped your bounds, David. You got too big for your britches. Maybe you're the shit in your town, but you're not in Arkansas anymore, Dodo. If someone attacked you the way you've attacked Corey, you would have kicked them out of your group long ago. That you're still here in Integral Global is a testament to what a tolerant mensch Corey is. In fact, I think he's too tolerant. I think he and Bruce need to recognize your hostile opportunism for what it is, reject it entirely, and publicly rebuke you for it. Here's something you don't realize, David. Nobody owes you airtime. Nobody owes you a platform. Nobody owes you a response, but you act like you are entitled to all of them. Maybe you have a good criticism of Integral or Ken or Corey or any of the many others whose reputations you've attacked. Maybe you have an amazing point to make about them. It doesn't matter because your hostile, selfish, hyper-competitive approach is entirely inappropriate and it's harmful for this community. They are all right to ignore, reject, and rebuke your approach. Because of it, you have burned more bridges than anyone else in this community that I know. But then you feel insulted because they weren't giving you the special attention that you feel you deserve, and then they become your enemy. Then it's pure red, scorched earth shit where you seriously attack and hurt people socially. David, I'm sorry that it hurt you when Corey didn't agree that you were more integral than Ken Wilber, leading you to launch your creative integral friction attacks on his reputation. So, if anyone watching this has had the impression that I was a vicious jerk in the aggressive remarks that I made towards David, maybe reconsider. You're capable of multiple perspectives, right? At least consider things from my perspective. When a hyper-orange colonizer predator with a red shadow shows up in your community, the only appropriate reaction is defensive aggression. These kinds of self-serving, opportunistic predators are extremely harmful to communities like ours. When a narcissistic, egocentric bully shows up and demands your attention with the threat that he'll sully your hard-earned good name and reputation, the only proper response to this acting out of red shadow is a swift, rhetorical kick in the nuts. The only thing left to do is finish him. You started this war, David, and I'm finishing it. If not this time, the next time. You can count on me to illuminate and counter every self-serving, hostile maneuver you bring to this group and this community. My usage of aggression was a last resort, in defense against a long, ongoing, and vicious social attack campaign against several of the most cherished members of our community. And speaking of those members, show some goddamn respect and deference to your superiors, David. Corey, Ken, Bruce, Steve, Matt, all these people whose characters you attempted to assassinate, they're all your superiors, and everyone here knows that. If you don't show the proper respect to the most deserving members of the community, David, you can expect other members to be upset with your rude behavior. Corey is right to not engage with David Long and his hostile overtures. David's sycophantic buddies have demanded screenshots and quotes. There's plenty of evidence out there for anyone who has the stomach to read through hundreds of David's comments, but much of the evidence has disappeared. I can't say conclusively that David went back and deleted a ton of conversations, but if he didn't, something very mysterious happened to them. However, I'm just going to rely on this community's memory, and I'm confident that the vast majority of people listening who are aware of David's history will recognize the truth in what I'm saying, and I'm willing to stake my reputation and all of my social capital on everything I've said being true. For all these reasons, David's quixotic, self-serving Integral 2.0 campaign is dead in the water. It's clear from comments by Bruce and many others that Integral 2.0 is a subset of integral theory at best, and certainly nowhere near the upgrade that David deludes himself and a handful of others into believing it is. In his first Integral 2.0 video cover photo, his head is 4 times as big as everyone else's, like his ego. David literally stole graphics from Corey for his videos. Check out the cover of his recent Integral 2.0 video. That aqua matrix right there is almost a direct copy of Integral Life's logo. And those aqua glyphs at the bottom? He literally copied and pasted from Corey's Facebook cover photo. That's the perfect demonstration of David's predatory egocentrism. To all those people whose faces are a quarter the size of David's, yeah, he made you feel important by including you. But how do you feel about being associated with the kind of person being described here? And you're a good kid, Kai, but you've gotten wrapped up with the wrong crowd. I have confidence that you'll eventually wake up and realize the truth that so many others have, which I've described in every line of this video. If you all want to know what the real pandemic is in the integral community, it's not racism, it's narcissism, of which David is one very prime example. David has brought narcissistic millennial YouTube culture to Integral, and I say that as a millennial. I invite everyone to check out The Point of Existence by A.H. Almas for the most comprehensive exploration of narcissism available. Keep everything I've said here in mind, and it will all start to make a lot more sense. And you too, David. Go read the book. Go clean up your act. Wake up, clean up, and grow up. Get a new brand that's about Integral and not about David Long. Get your own original logo and graphics. Work on your social and relational development, and we will welcome you back with open arms like the prodigal son. And if not, well, I don't want to see your hostility in this group ever again. That's all the time I have left for you, David. If your commie guard dog wants to make another gossip video about me, I probably won't find the time to watch it. I'd like to get back to my life of spiritual development, integral anti-racist activism, peace, love, and harmony. As for the rest of Integral Global, I hope you've learned a little bit about how to recognize orange and red shadow in your communities. But it's not enough to recognize it. You also have to oppose it and speak out against it if you want it to cease. Namaste, y'all. Okay, folks, welcome to the David Long store. We've got a lot of great products that are available at a discount for a short time only. So hurry up and get your orders in. Right here, we've got this lovely Davidian Aqua t-shirt. Davidian Aqua, for those that don't know, is integral theory from an orange center of gravity perspective. It's also known as look how smart I am and how many typologies I know. And look how much money, $30 for only $30 for this shirt that rips off Ken Wilber's philosophy while taking a dump on him. Then we've got, moving along, we've got this amazing psychedelic wall tapestry. If you've got kids that are on drugs, this is perfect for them, for their bedrooms, for their black lights. If they're not on drugs yet, they will be after they watch a few of David Long's videos. And keep going here. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. We've got a bar stool with David Long's picture on it. So if you actually want to have David Long's face under your ass, it's only $160. And oh, look at this. David Long pillow. If you want to wake up every morning with David Long's face next to yours, it's only $21. That is quite a deal, folks. We've got all kinds of products here. We've got prints. We've got another logo that David stole from Corey. You can buy Corey's Integral Life logo on a t-shirt for only $21. This is a great deal, everybody. Hurry up and take advantage of this now before these products are gone.